Yo, what's up, peeps? Inside Out 2 was one of the few bright spots of Disney's year, and apparently there's some controversy about it. So let's talk about it. According to Forbes magazine, Disney's Inside Out 2 controversy explained. Former employees have spoken out against Disney, alleging a toxic work environment. It is Disney. During the production of Inside Out 2, with some claiming that there were notes to make Riley seem less gay. I remember watching the first Inside Out. I got zero indication of watching this movie that Riley was gay, like zero. So basically what happened is that in between, a bunch of people, not a lot, but a few, decided that she was. So they became very vocal on what was Twitter at the time about how the next movie should go into how that she's gay, even though they gave zero indication of her sexuality at all, because she's a child and she's a little older in this one, but she's still a child. So her sexuality should have zero bearing on anything about this movie. It just should be about her becoming a teenager. That's it. And even though I haven't seen this movie, that's the indications that I got from people who've seen it, that that's all that it is, because that's all that it should be. So you got a bunch of weirdos who are trying to add something to a project that they didn't do, that was not there in the first place. A report alleging poor work conditions, again it's Disney, and rumored LGBT themes during the production of Inside Out 2 has sparked backlash against Disney across social media, meaning a handful of people of yelling very loudly. Most of the people who watched this movie just enjoyed it. Inside Out 2 was a massive hit with both critics and audiences. It snatched the crown from Disney's live-action Lion King to remake the biggest Lion King remake as the biggest animated movie of all time. The film explores the mind of a teenage girl protagonist, Riley, depicting her emotions, joy, sadness, anxiety, as characters with conflicting goals. The stories emphasizing importance of maintaining good mental health. Behind the scenes of Inside Out 2, anxiety seems to have reigned supreme, with former Pixar employees speaking of a toxic, disorganized work environment and claims of Disney leadership attempting to turn down the film's queer themes. Again, I didn't recall any queer themes in the first one. This is projection from a small group of people who are projecting their own life, whatever, onto characters that weren't there. And apparently the brass at Disney seemed to have picked up on that from outside and wanted to, I guess, make sure that people don't get that impression in the second one. I don't know why they got that impression in the first one. It's all kind of weird. An IGN report quoting former Pixar employees that worked on Inside Out 2 described a messy production which staff pushed to their limits and many suffering layoffs despite the film's success. Yeah, that sounds like how Disney has done everything from Marvel to Star Wars. So that particular part is not that surprising. One source described the film's production as the largest crunch in the studio's history. Yeah, I bet y'all missing John Lasseter. We all know Disney was evil, but this is evil. Any Pixar employee laid off before Inside 2 release were not able to qualify for their bonus for work on the film. Laid off employees were asked not to come to the office to pick up belongings, so remaining employees didn't feel awkward. It's like, I guess everyone on the outside kind of had an idea that Disney was kind of like this. So maybe you don't realize it until it happens to you. And then, from a creative standpoint, Disney reportedly made notes to make Riley seem less gay, with sources alleging that leadership was uncomfortable with the film's queer themes. Allegations of toxic work environment didn't surprise jaded internet commentators who expect Disney to act like a malevolent mega corporation, but many were taken aback by the reported censorship of the saying Lightyear failed because of the lesbian astronaut that dies in the first 20 minutes is doing a major disservice to just how painfully dull the remaining hour and a half is. That movie failed because, one, this is not Buzz Lightyear, and they basically stated that. And while putting certain themes in family movies that a large number of the families won't be too cool with, wasn't a deal breaker on this. My biggest thing was they should have kept Tim Allen. So that was why I didn't go see it. That other stuff, it was typical Hollywood type stuff. So, you don't really care one way or the other, I guess. Disney leadership reportedly put a large part of the failure on Lightyear down to the same-sex kiss, as continuous notes were given to the animators to make Riley come across as less gay in Inside Out 2. Again, I never got any impression of that in the first one, so I'm curious as to what they were going to try to make, because this reminds me of the Mario, the Super Mario movie, and the people who made it were gonna make it a girl boss movie with Peach bossing Mario around till Nintendo was like, no, we're not doing this. And there's evidence of that in like a scene where she kind of says something in a way to Mario that seemed a little funny. Peach would never talk to Mario like this, so it was kind of weird. So I'm curious as to the direction that they were gonna make this movie into. It seems like, again, the Disney brass seemed to be a little nervous about whatever direction they were going in, because they don't seem to be saying what was changed. So I don't know. Like, again, I didn't get any impression from the first movie of her sexuality in any capacity. So it just strikes me as odd. It is crazy how they're like 8 years where it was okay to be gay in public, and then they decided that was over. It is still okay to be gay in public. What is not okay is to thrust whatever you're into onto other people who aren't interested in knowing about it. That's the difference. The world does not have to put you on the pedestal just because you want to be put on that. They don't like us for as long as they can profit from us. The moment they can, they drop us real quick, like everything else, which is basically people have been telling y'all for years how it was whole June thing. June rolls in, they put this stuff on everything except for certain spots in the world that don't mess with that like at all, and they don't do it there. And as long as there was no actual backlash, it was just like what they do with black people, same thing. They only cared about Black Lives Matter as long as they got them some brownie points, and when they stopped getting brownie points, they stopped caring. I don't know why you don't expect a corporation to not do this. Really weird to me. Disney has been criticized for half-hearted queer representation before by fans, critics, and creatives. Alex Hirsch, creator of Gravity Falls, has spoken out against Disney's internal pushback against gay characters. Disney privately cut the gay scene. You might lose precious pennies from Russia and China. Disney publicly, we will put the rainbow bumper sticker on Lightning McQueen today. Consume our product, it teens. Yeah, corporations are gonna go do corporation things. I don't know why you're surprised by this. Riley is not depicted as queer in Inside Out 2, but the film shows her desperately attempting to impress an older girl, Val, who is something of a mentor to Riley. Back in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, they would have been no sexual anything to that environment. She would have just saw an older girl who she wanted to be like, and that's what all it would have been. It would have been like a mentor mentee thing. That's it. So I don't know if it's weird that you can't have that anymore, just like you can't have two guys who are just really good friends. I don't know, it's all odd. There seems to be a lot of odd people who are projecting their oddness onto everything. And the funny thing is, I have looked at enough stuff to know that not everyone who is in that particular community is very interested in any of this stuff. They just kind of want to be left alone to live their life. That's it. It's a couple of weirdos who are really pushing this stuff, and it has more to do with them than anything else. Allegedly, efforts were made to depict the relationship between the two as purely platonic, such as editing tone and lighting to make their scenes appear to be less romantic. Why would they be romantic in the first place? Mentor, mentee. That's it. I don't know why you need to add any of that stuff. So that is, what kind of movie were they making at first that got Disney so nervous? So one source described the edits as doing extra work to make sure that no one would potentially see them as not straight. Why are you putting any of this stuff in these types of movies? And given how what they did made this one of the biggest animated movies that they've ever put out, that shows you that what the population wants. And they're not interested in any of this stuff. Do not try to change the world through this type of thing. People want to give you money. Let them give you money. They want to take their family to a family movie that has none of this stuff in it. If you want to do that, you can start your own business Create your own product and put it out there. The reason why you don't do that is because nobody's gonna see it. As simple as that. There is an audience for that, but it's not a 1 billion audience. And saying that you're upset because Disney wants to make money in China and Russia and places like that, it's not just China and Russia. It's places in America where they just want to watch a family movie, but nothing in it, nothing. You can create your own thing. Preach as much as you want in the thing that you created. Disney had a whole brand, and by you trying to change the brand so that you can put your message out, you're just killing the brand. I hate to tell you that, but that's what reality is. Another source claimed that Disney leadership blames the box office failure on a brief gay kiss between two characters. That slightly had maybe somewhat to do with it in certain places on Earth. It was more the fact that Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. They should have had Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Basically, they should have just took the cartoon that they made back in the day and just made it a 3D movie out of that, and they would have did well if they did that. But no, they wanted to go into a different direction, and the fact that Buzz Lightyear turned out to be the villain in the thing, that didn't help. So whatever buzz you might have gotten, as soon as somebody saw the movie and they saw that, yeah, it was DOA. They'll bring up Lightyear specifically and say, oh, Lightyear was a financial failure because it had a queer kiss. That necessarily was not the case. That's not the reason the movie failed. At the time, the film's gay kiss was just another piece of ammunition in the culture war. The culture war is we just want to watch stuff, TV, movies, play video games without being lectured by a handful of people who somehow managed to get control of our entertainment. That's what the culture war is. Like, I don't care that you're whatever. You could be whatever you want. I don't care. Stop lecturing me. That's the culture war in a nutshell. Lightyear was framed as a movie within a movie, supposedly inspiring Andy from Toy Story to become obsessed with his Buzz Lightyear doll in the original film, but fans noted that the plot and tone of Lightyear bears little resemblance to the source material. Yes, because they already made that thing. That was the Buzz Lightyear cartoon that Disney put out back in the early 2000s. That's what he was talking about. This was some other thing. Boy, do I have news for them if they think that the second kiss enough. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. They made Buzz Lightyear the villain in his own movie. That was stupid. Toy Story presented Buzz Lightyear toy franchise as a lighthearted Star Wars parody, but Lightyear was a relatively grounded tale of space travel, time dilation, failure, and aging. Many commentators were disheartened to see that Disney had learned the wrong lessons from the film's failure. The woman-on-woman kiss was the only reason I went to see the movie at all, and it lasted half a blink. Lightyear flopped not because of its inclusion of a queer kiss, but its mediocre storyline and confused goals and failure to grasp the wonder and playfulness of Buzz Lightyear's character. Most of this I agree with. This particular thing, this person should be aware that not everybody wants to see that. Whoever this is, she's okay with it. That's great. But not everybody wants to see that. Not everybody wants to bring their children to see that. It's like, so that you're a small percentage of people. I'm sorry. There are things that I like that I'm well aware that I'm a small percentage of the people who went to go see this particular thing. It is what it is. Getting mad because they don't put more of that stuff, whatever it is, into different projects. I don't know what to say. Okay, so this is just more people who have interesting things in their bio. Shipping is a big part of the online fan culture, and Disney fandoms are no exception. Imagining queer relationships between characters inspires countless works of fan art and fan fiction by a very tiny part of the people who you need to try to appeal to. And because they push so hard, and if you include it, you are guaranteed to push the majority of the people who are also interested in your property out the door. It's just what it is. Despite Disney's reported attempts to smother romantic undertones, why are there any romantic undertones in a movie about a child? Many fans still, yeah. Now, see this queer baited thing? This is basically you went out and you saw something in something that was not there, that was never intended to be there, and then you're disappointed later when it turns out that what you saw was not in there. And then therefore, because the thing that you thought you saw was not in the thing that you wanted, you get mad at the people who never intended for that to be in there in the first place. The queer baited thing is like the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. There was no tones at all in Inside Out about her sexuality because she was a child. That says a lot about you if you saw that in that movie. Riley's secret was teased throughout the entire. No, it was not. No, it's not. You just saw that. It's like two same-sex characters look at each other, and then you infer that somehow it's a romantic look when it was not. And then you get mad at the people who wrote it because the thing that you thought you saw was not what you saw. Which is funny is I'm reading a book right now. So that's the end of the article. I'm reading a book right now. It's about how your brain basically interprets things because, all right, how to describe this? Your brain basically is encased in darkness and silence. So it gets all of its information from outside sources, your eyes, your ears, your skin, that kind of thing. So because your brain can't firsthand see anything, it has to interpret information that it has, right? So therefore, that's why when you see something from a distance that looks like something you've seen before, you see it like that until you get more information and then you readjust what you think it is. So that seems to be what a lot of this stuff is. It's like you want these things to be in whatever you're looking at, and it's not. So then you're upset about it, and you're not mature enough to realize that you are wrong. So it has to be the other person that's wrong. So I don't know. Disney needs to just go back and just tell stories that don't have this kind of stuff in it. You don't need to lecture people. People don't want to hear it. If they haven't learned this by now from Marvel and Star Wars and various other things, I don't know what to tell them. So that's it. So please like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And if you have any thoughts or opinions on what I said, please say it below in the comments. All right, later.